This is the second video in what we are calling Magic Month. It's a full month of us exploring our favorite magical fandoms, the epic worlds that they're in, and the tropes of those stories that play out in our lives. We're digging into the most epic wizarding worlds, the amazing places, the wonderful spells, and the deep meanings underneath, which is why this week we're talking about one of our favorite magical books, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Now, this is a book that's been on my radar for quite some time. I think it was one that became especially popular in 2020 when we all found ourselves spending a lot more time inside than we maybe had before and looking around at all the stuff we maybe didn't quite need. And the premise of this book is amazing. It's that if you read this book and you do what it says, you'll never have to tidy up again. Now, that's not entirely accurate because you still have to clean things, but I think we've all been through the cycle of trying to pick up a room or restore order to some place. Things look good for a week or two, and then in the words of Yates, things fall apart.
There, isn't that a lot better? Now you can do whatever you want, but don't mess up the house.
We won't.
No.
See, I think the normal cycle of cleaning, the one that this book is in opposition to, is based off of shame. At least it is often for me. And I tend to live in my environment until one day it suddenly hits me that I've been driving around in my car with the same 19 cans of LaCroix rattling around by the passenger door, and I'm wondering, how did I live like this?
Just throw out all the empties.
You don't want to recycle them?
Yes. Throw them away in the recycling bin.
Do you want this?
No.
See, when we see our spaces in disorder, when it reaches a certain level, we tend to have, or at least I tend to have, a shame reaction. One that causes me to say, well, let me fix it all right now. I'll dig down and I'll find the time and we'll clean it all up. And then I make a promise to myself, which is, well, it's gonna be clean from here on out. And that works for like a week or two. But then the cycle perpetuates. I think we all know that when we tend to leave things in our life on their own, we tend to leave like the kitchen or our car to its own devices, it doesn't tend to magically get cleaner. In fact, I think we know that the reverse happens. Things that are left to their own devices tend to fall apart. All the things that happen that we don't expect tend to be negative when we leave things to their own devices. See, I think the genius of Marie Kondo's book is that it takes shame out of the equation. Instead of saying, I can't believe my space isn't clean, I think it asks a different question. It begins by assuming that your space is the way that it is for a reason. See, when I'm thinking about all of my LaCroix cans or the general clutter that can accumulate in my space and in my life, I tend to think about that through the lens of shame. I think, I can't believe that I did this. I can't believe that my room got really messy and my books came off the shelf and that there's laundry everywhere. I can't believe that things aren't sorted. I thought that I was an adult and I was supposed to have all of this figured out.
What's the point of all this cleaning? Are we so vain?
See, as we go through life, we tend to accumulate more things. We tend to put more stuff out of its place. The Marie Kondo method, the life-changing magic of tidying up, is about going through all that randomness and injecting just a little bit more order. It's about saying, well, of these things that are intentional, which are the ones that I want to keep?
What about this bottle of power drink?
What flavor?
Blue.
Blue's not a flavor.
It says flavor, Blue Blast.
Oh, Blue Blast, yes. Put that in the trunk. And there should be an unopened Arctic Chill back there. I want that in the passenger's cup holder.
And see, when you get rid of something, there's no shame in that. In fact, the exercise that she goes through is to thank each item for its service. See, the stuff that's accumulating in your life isn't there because you messed up. It was there for a reason, and now it's served its purpose.
Whoa, stop! Whoa, that's my Drakkar Noir.
No, this says Rite Aid Night Sweat.
No, it is a perfect smell-alike. I'm not paying for the label. Right here, give it.
Well, it's empty.
No, it's not. There's some in the straw.
It's simply rather there was a time when you needed those things in your life, and that time is no more. There's no reason to feel ashamed about that. In fact, you should feel proud that you're making that transition now. Now, let me ask you a question. How is it that our minds are necessarily all that different from our physical spaces? I'm not just talking about the emotional and physical effect that cleaning up a space can have, because it really can, personally, for me, help me clear my head. But I'm talking more about the analogy of clutter. See, I think much like our physical spaces, when we tend to ignore things, they don't tend to get magically better. But how many of us go through our lives accumulating this vast amount of emotions and interests and responsibilities and appointments and things in our calendar and stuff that we said yes to and things that we have to go do and people that we know and relationships and responsibilities, and there's just so much. Now, I don't have some kind of magic bullet fix-all solution, nor do I have some brand new psychology interpretation based around Marie Kondo. What I do have is 5 very practical tips for tidying up your mind this week. Number 1 is journal. Now, I get it. We're a journal company, but I'm not even gonna tell you to use the Hero's Journal. I think Hero's Journal could be a great part of that process for you, and I'll definitely recommend it at the end of this video. If you're looking for a journal, you can go there. But I would say there's a lot of great solutions, whether that's a Julia Cameron style artist pages or a Hero's Journal or a bullet journal. There's so many great options. Journaling is an act of getting some of the thoughts in here onto a page. It can help clean the clutter of your mind in a roundabout way because you're listening to yourself. Number 2 is quit something.
I quit!
Now, this might seem like a roundabout way. I'm not talking about cigarettes or Lucky Charms. I'm talking about responsibilities. See, we acquire all of these things that we say yes to. And some of us say yes way too easily to anybody who wants some commitment on our time. When was the last time you looked through all of the things that you have to spend time on every week and chose something to quit? When was the last time you asked which of these appointments or commitments spark joy and which no longer do? So there was a time when you did need to commit to that, but that time might not still be now. In fact, there's an author, Bob Goff, who says he quits one thing every week. And while I don't have the personal strength to do that, I think it's an amazing idea to have the attitude of, I know I add things as my life goes on, so I also need to remove something so I can keep focusing on what's really important. 3, turn off your notifications. Or honestly, if you can, break up with your phone a little bit more.
I threw it on the ground.
Technology is amazing. You wouldn't be watching this video without technology, but how many of those technological things do you really want to be able to interrupt you? Is it really important to know if you're getting an Instagram like or honestly an email? Now for you, the answer might be yes. For me personally, I can get iMessages and phone calls, the only 2 apps that are allowed to interrupt me in my day. Everything else is something I get to check, but they don't get to add to the clutter. I can stay in touch with the people who need to get a hold of me, but none of the other technology on my phone has the right to interrupt me from what is actually important. 4, try a guided meditation or breathing stretching exercise. There are tons of great options from like the Calm app to free stuff on YouTube for a guided meditation or breathing exercise or simple stretching routine. And as dumb as it may sound, as cheesy as it may seem, I found that even 5 to 10 minutes can make a really noticeable difference on my day. And when was the last time that you sat down with yourself without any noise and spent 5 minutes in your head not worrying about anything? I think that doing that, for me at least, can feel like I'm carving one little calm corner into my day where it's just me and my thoughts and nothing outside of me gets to stress me out or worry me. And I know that I have to deal with those things. I have responsibilities. I have people that I love that I want to be there for, but at least for 5 minutes a day, it's just me and my thoughts. Number 5 is know when to call it a day. You can't do everything in a day. In fact, you probably still try to get yourself to do more things in a day than you know is really reasonable. More and more, I'm trying to find for myself the point in my day when the focus needs to go from being productive to making tomorrow productive. There's some point in time where I have to say, you know what, I haven't done everything I want to do. I haven't gotten through my to-do list, but the worst thing I could do is try to muscle down and just do more and push things harder and push more and more into that shame cycle of the things being messy and not getting done. I think there's real wisdom in saying I've done what I can on this. What I need now is a meal and a walk and to go to bed so that tomorrow I can tackle this new. Whether you need to Marie Kondo your space or whether you need to Marie Kondo your brain, I hope that any of these 5 tips can help you escape that cycle of shame and discover the life-changing magic of tidying up your mind.
You did it. You did it. It looked amazing. Look at that. That looks like what you would buy from a store.
It should have been.
Look at all the sports space.
So
We
much.
do aerobics in here.
So many activities.
Thank you so much for watching that video in Magic Month. I know that tidying up is in some ways the most interesting form of magic, but I've found that it's a very practical one that impacts me a lot more than I tend to realize. Now through February 16th, we're running a group challenge called Magic Month. You can click the link below to get access to the PDF. It's got daily side quests and reflection questions to help you put just a little bit more order into your life and make your world just a little bit more magical. Now the PDF of Magic Month is based off of the Hero's Journal, which is designed to help you reframe your goal as a quest and begin to see yourself as the hero of your story. So if you want to learn more, read the reviews, or order yours, you can visit theheroesjournal.co. Finally, we make videos every week talking about story theory, our favorite fandoms, and how they play out in our lives and productivity. So if this video is helpful, you can hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next week for video number 3 in Magic Month.